Welcome to Flame Tree Live and Spooky.
Flame Tree Live and Spooky.
Live and Spooky.
Live and Spooky with Flame Tree Press.
Flame Tree's Live and Spooky.
Here to celebrate Flame Tree's Live and Spooky season with you this year.
Flame Tree Live and Spooky.
Flame Tree's Live and Spooky event.
Coming to you live and spooky.
Flame Tree's Live and Spooky celebration.
Live and Spooky season.
Flame Tree Live and Spooky.
Welcome to Halloween Live and Spooky.
Death's Successor coming out in November of this year.
October.
Those Who Dwell in Mordenhurst Hall.
Queen of the Cicadas.
The Bloodstained Owl, my new novel from Flame Tree Press.
There's the Gaia Chime, which is coming out in March.
Sebastian. The best of our past, the worst of our future.
That which stands outside.
Mestiza Blood.
Keeper of Sorrows.
Lisa Morton's Halloween Encyclopedia and her history of Halloween. You cannot go wrong with any of Lisa Morton's Halloween books. Perfect for the season.
I've got a few recommendations. So they're all anthologies, actually. So the first two, we've got Fear of Clowns. Again, I mean, come on, clowns. This is perfect for Halloween. And it is edited by Kenneth Kane. So you want to check that out. American Cannibal. I mean, the title says everything you need to know. Edited by the really great Rebecca Rowland. Pick that one up.
At his best, which was frequently, H.P. Lovecraft was unparalleled at the modulation of language, excellence of structure, and sheer sense of cosmic awe. Flame Tree had brought out a new and handsome edition of his stories, including some of his most famous and some lesser known, representing the whole range of his work.
Number 13 of The Devil's Backbone, which, yes, I'm in, but also includes really excellent novellas from Red Legault and Ronald Kelly. Absolutely incredible. This is Appalachian horror. I also would like to recommend, because horror poetry is my jam. I can't write poetry, but I absolutely love to read it. Claire Holland's I Am Not Your Final Girl. Grab that.
I want to share with you my favorite spooky things of the season, starting off with Change and Other Terrors by Jim Horlock. It's a horror anthology story that dabbles in body horror, cosmic horror, subjects of grief. Like it kind of goes all over the place. They're all nice bite-sized stories so that if there's something in there that you don't necessarily vibe with, you can move on to the next, and it could be something that's absolutely phenomenal.
This year, Bonesy and I want to recommend some great horror novels. My three are all Halloween books. Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, the original supernatural carnival tale, and a true classic in the genre. Carnival of Fear by me. Awful things happen when a haunted carnival comes to town. And October by Gregory Bastianelli, a coming-of-age horror story set against the backdrop of Halloween.
I wanted to recommend Wilding Hall by Elizabeth Hand. This is one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorite books, but this is definitely one of them. And it's also kind of a slim book, which a lot of people enjoy. It's about a acid folk band that goes off to a country house to record their next project. And anyway, I really enjoy it.
And then, there's always the John Everson Pumpkin Man novel. I mean, there's a pumpkin on the cover. How can you go wrong with that, right?
I would, of course, recommend anything I've written in the horror genre, which would, of course, be Beatrice Hill and What a Mortal Hand. But for a shorter piece, I'm very fond of The Hanging Stranger by Philip K. Dick. Available, well, actually everywhere. It's a great story. You will see echoes of famous television shows that stole from it wholeheartedly and gave no credit to the great author.
One of my absolute favorite horror books is James A. Moore's Blood Red. This is a Halloween novel that features a vampire who pretty much overruns a town at Halloween. It is a super great read, one of my favorites ever.
You cannot go wrong with Flame Tree Press's American Gothic short story collection. This beautiful book is filled with spooky tales from Edgar Allan Poe, Ambrose Bierce, Lovecraft, and dozens of other masters of the Gothic horror genre. Read it by the campfire, read it by a fireplace. Whatever you do, do not read it alone.
That I would like to recommend by somebody else. This is The Apparition Phase by Will McLean, which I read a couple of years ago, and it ended up being my favourite book of the year. I was born in the 70s, and this is set in the 70s, so it's very nostalgic for me. And it's about a pair of twins, Tim and Abby, who spend their evenings in the attic of their parents' house, poring over reports of the unexplained. And it very much kind of encompasses that 70s satanic panic, fear of the unknown type vibe. And it's very creepy, very ghostly, quite tragic. It takes place over quite a long time, over quite a long period. And I found it just a brilliant, absorbing and emotional novel.
Books I recommend for Halloween would be Ghost Story by Peter Straub and Fogheart by Thomas Tessier.
Relatively little-known American writer named Jonathan Thomas. I've known him for many years too. He has the good luck to live in Lovecraft's Providence, Rhode Island, and he has used Providence and the general New England setting for many of his novels and tales. One of the outstanding books he has written is called The Color Over Occam. In Thomas's view, Occam is kind of the new pronunciation of Lovecraft's Arkham, Massachusetts. Now, in the most superficial sense, this is a sequel to The Color Out of Space, although that characterization grossly underestimates the power and originality of this book. To my mind, it is one of the best Lovecraftian novels ever written by somebody other than Lovecraft.
Absolute favorite spooky read that I've picked up this year is The Haunting of Alejandra by B. Castro. I grew up in Central Texas, so I've read a lot of tales of La Llorona, but this is my absolute favorite. It's like literary horror because Castro does this really moving job of weaving in generational trauma, the plight of women, and their identity when they become mothers, and the impact of colonialism. And it's raw and real and hauntingly beautiful, and I strongly recommend that you read it.
Bonesy's picks are August Eyes by Glenn Roth. When dreams become reality, death soon follows. Jonathan Janz's Blood Country, where he imagines a world where the monsters rule. And finally, Ragman by me. A deadly mummy is loose and out for revenge in New York City. I hope you enjoy these books as much as we did.
Book I'd recommend anything by Eric LaRocca. He's an amazing writer, but this is his latest short story collection. So check it out.
Also going to recommend Adam Caesar's Clown in a Cornfield. This is technically a YA novel and doesn't take place explicitly at Halloween, but it's at a fall festival in a Midwestern town. There are clowns, there are cornfields, there's lots of blood. This, for a YA novel, this really is over the top. It was a great read, super fast, highly recommend.
M.R. James was the great master of the distillation of spectral dread. He could convey more uncanny terror in a sentence, or even occasionally a phrase, than most of us could do in a paragraph or a page. Again, Flame Tree have brought out this fine edition, collecting some of his best-known work, and again some of his lesser-known.
My favorites is this book called A Mountain Walked, Great Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos. This book came together in a very serendipitous way and had some outstanding contributions by leading contemporary writers of Lovecraftian fiction. Let me just give you some idea of who's in this book. W.H. Pugmire, a dear friend of mine, Ted Klein, Joe Pulver, Donald Tyson, Cody Goodfellow, Mark Samuels, Caitlin Kiernan, Reese Hughes, Gemma File, so many other great writers in here. I think this is an outstanding anthology for which I take no credit. It's the contributors who made this book what it is.
As we kind of maybe go from spooky to holidays, we have got Literally Dead. So this is Gabby Triana. Pick this one up. So if you want spooky, kind of going into Thanksgiving and Christmas, I recommend this.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
I'm Russell James. Have a great Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween is more of a 24/7, 365 thing, so stay spooky.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
Have a great live and spooky Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Have a splendid and spectral Halloween.
Halloween is always in season.